Hi everyone, and welcome to this week's episode of Money Moves. Every Sunday, I go over the most important article of the week, and this week, payrolls increased by 1.8 million, topping expectations yet again. I will quickly go over my taxable lending club account and its holdings. Then I will go over my IRA account with Lending Club, as well as its holdings. And since this is the first week of the month, I will also go over my statement for my taxable account and for my IRA. I will very briefly go over my Fundrise account, as well as the progress report for one of my projects. Then I will take a look at my M1 Retire account, as well as my higher yield savings account. And then I will finish up with my current options positions. As always, there will be some jelly at the end, which is something I enjoyed outside of the markets. If you have big dreams like buying the Kismet yacht, or if you're just getting started on your financial journey, definitely like and subscribe. It has a lavish hallway leading to the bar and sitting area with a very interesting piano in it and a regal master suite with a massive master bathroom. The front deck is also huge with an awesome pool and hot tub. It's currently on sale for $200 million. To keep your dreams at the front of your mind, like and subscribe. Welcome to the Portfolio Bulletin. Let's get started. Taking a look at SPY for this week, it started out at 327.77 and it finished up at 334.55, meaning that it gained 1.91%. Moving on to the article of the day, payroll increases by 1.8 million, topping expectations despite the Rona. 2 months of record-setting payroll growth was slowed in July, but still better than expected. Non-farm payrolls increased by 1.763 million this month, causing the unemployment rate to drop to 10.2% from 11.1%, which was also better than expected. Underemployed or part-time job holders fell from 18% to 16.5%. To give a perspective of what this looks like, the last 3 months have been positive growth. However, the month prior to that, we saw a massive decline of over 20 million jobs. Obviously, this was due to the lockdowns, and we have a long way to go until we recoup all of these jobs, but the progress has been steady. Overall, the markets did not react to this news, as it was pretty close to the expectation. They opened lower on the day of the announcement, and bond yields also stayed flat. The head of fixed income for Charles Schwab said they expect the unemployment rate to stay over 10%, and they also view the economy as pretty weak. Those struggling the most are bars and restaurants, and they comprised 502,000 of the monthly growth. Government jobs increased 301,000, while retail increased 258,000. In summary, all of the industries that have been hit the hardest are recovering the fastest. Average hourly worker wages increased 4.8% from a year ago, despite the fact that higher wage workers were the first to return to work after the pandemic shutdown. Average hours worked decreased to 34.5. However, manufacturing increased to 39.7. So generally, all of this news is beneficial for the economy and is bullish for the overall markets. Moving on to my Worthy Bonds account, I've decided that I'm going to continue to withdraw the interest and put it into my trading accounts. As you can see here, I've been consistently withdrawing that money. Despite the withdrawals, you can see it's still making $10.34 per week. Looking at the interest report for my smaller account, you can see one bond was added on August 5th, and that's because someone used the link in the description to get themselves a free bond when they opened their account. So thanks for supporting the channel. If you're interested in getting your own Worthy Bonds account and buying bonds that yield 5%, which compound daily, and are fully liquid, there is a link in the description to get you one free bond when you get started. Moving on to my taxable lending club account, my overall account value stayed basically flat this week. I had a few loans go into grace period, but my late notes stayed just about the same. Looking at the holdings, I invested in A-note loans this week. In terms of term, this account continues to focus on 60-month loans. Looking at my IRA account, I had one note go from grace period to 16 to 30 days late. However, my overall account value went up by $9. I invested in all 3 types of loans for this account, and looking at term, I'm still focused on 60-month loans. Looking at the monthly statement for my taxable account, I received almost $250 in interest, 1 cent in late fees, and I had $118 worth of loans charged off, resulting in a $131 profit. On these statements, they show the total account value, not the deducted value shown on the holdings. Looking at my IRA account, I received $86.10 in interest, and $47.25 were charged off, resulting in a profit of $38.85. The result of this is a total profit of $170.13, which if you divide by the around $24,000 invested, results in an annualized rate of 8.5%. Moving on to my Fundrise account, I made a little bit over $7 this week, and next week I should be making my monthly deposit. Moving on to the progress update for one of the projects. In May, they invested $5 million into a 271-unit luxury apartment building in Upper West Side of Atlanta. They were delayed due to heavy rain, as well as the Rona, which shut down most construction in March. They say despite these slowdowns, they are pleased to announce that 2 of the 3 residential buildings will be ready soon, and the project sponsor has begun ramping up leasing efforts. While more Rona delays could be possible, it's not currently slowing them down. These investments are constructed like debt, meaning that any delays to the project returns to the investor as interest over that term at the fixed rate predetermined, which means your investments are protected even if the original project falls behind schedule. They say they still anticipate a 10.5% return annualized to the East Coast E-REIT upon successful completion of this project. If you're interested in investing in a project like this, and many like it, there is a link in the description that will get your investor fees waived for the first 90 days. Moving on to my M1 Retire account. This account went up 2.6% this week, which did outperform the S&P 500 at just under 2%. I had almost $2 in dividends and $260 worth of market gains. Taking a look at the holdings, again, basically everything was up, just those short-term government bonds that were down a very, very small amount. Taking a look at my dividends for this week, AT&T, Verizon, Lowe's, short-term government bonds, as well as General Dynamics and MasterCard all paid out this week. I know it says that there is a withdrawal of $3,500, but that's because I utilized the borrow line of credit, and I will explain that a little bit later. Taking a look at my higher yield savings account, this one was up a little bit, not as much as the market, but that's because this account is mostly in bonds. I received $13 in dividends and $157 in market gains. Looking at the holdings, basically everything was up again, just not those short-term government bonds. Taking a look here, all of the stock market ETFs that I own in this account were also up. Moving on to the activities for my higher yield savings account, I received lots of different bond dividends. As you can see here, I had to pay the interest on my M1 Borrow account. Again, I will explain that further, but I did receive lots of different bond ETF payments, and then I also utilized a little bit more of this line of credit. So looking at my M1 Borrow account, which is based on my Retire account, I'm allowed to borrow $3,600, and I borrowed $3,500, which was the withdrawal that you saw on the activity page. The rate on this money is 2%, so it basically cost me $5 a month to use this money. Similarly, for my higher yield savings account, because the value is a little bit higher, I can borrow $5,000 here, again at 2%, and it will cost me around $8 a month to use this money. Moving on to my Robinhood account, you can see I had a pretty bad day on the last day of the week, down a little over $400, which puts me down a little bit over $200 for the week. Looking at the month view, I'm still up over $200, but I want to explain how this is not really a realized loss yet. So looking at Apple, the stock needs to go down to $400 a share before I really start to lose money. And this stock is still around $445. It's just the fact that this option value went up just a little bit. And that's really going to be the moral of the story for most of these option positions. The majority of this money is coming from CrowdStrike, which did go down quite a bit. But again, I'm still not losing money until I get to that $95 a share. And I did receive over $200 for this credit. So this option position is up almost 100%, which is bad for me as a seller. But the stock still hasn't hit that $95 a share. And even if they do, I plan to accept these shares, and then I will sell covered calls to get out of the position. and further reduce my cost basis. Looking at CCL, this one's still doing well. 3M, this had a little bit of a bump at the end of the week. However, the option price still went up, and that's due to the volatility. So as that volatility retracts, the value of this option will go down. Match.com also went up, but Match.com is a particularly illiquid option pool, and because of that, it has some pretty wild swings in price. Yeti is at near all-time highs. That one's doing well. Ford is doing well. Snapchat is basically flat on the week. And I also plan to accept those shares at $19 if it gets to that position. And this position in gold is actually in the profit, but it did go down a little bit at the end of the week. However, GLD shares are still at $190+, so I'm again not really in a losing position yet. Also, I made an earnings play on Uber. I received $70 for the 33 puts. And you can see here the price is still $32.89, so this is actually a profitable position for now. And again, I will sell covered calls to get out of this position. Looking at my Tasty Trade account, this SPY Iron Condor is potentially going to lose a little bit of money. The upper call is at 337 and the current price is at 334.57. So I'll have to keep an eye on this, potentially roll it out or just close the call side. I did roll out this Q's position in order to collect a little bit more credit. CCL stock recovered a little bit from last week, so that stock is doing fine. Ford on this account also doing fine, and then Snapchat went down a little bit. However, it's still staying above my strike price. Taking a look at my overall portfolio, you can see the net actually didn't move very much. I think it went up around $100, despite the fact that my trading account went up quite a bit. And that's because all of that money came from the M1 debt, which is sitting at $8,500 right now. So looking at my week-to-week baseline, you can see my stock positions have gone up, and that's because the market went up overall this week. My bond positions stayed just about flat because I did pull some money out of worthy bonds. Lending Club did go up $30, and then REITs went up a little bit over $100. There was a big increase in my trading account value, again from the M1 borrow, and then I deposited a little bit of cash into my Tasty Trade account. Overall, the portfolio continues to do well, making gains every week. I don't suggest that most people use margin in any case. In order to use margin successfully, you must be sure that you have a good plan that you have used for a while, as well as generally having experience with trading. For most people, I suggest that you use the passive methods that I've explained here. Let me know down in the comment section what you think of these platforms. If you're interested in using any of them, there are affiliate links in the description for all of them. Definitely like and subscribe if you got any value out of this video. Of course, this is not financial advice. This is all for entertainment purposes. And with that, let's get to the jelly. So today's jelly is another very special song from Mark Rebier. He makes beats on the spot and he's very good at it. So here's what that looks like.
Dinner's ready.
As you can tell, this guy clearly enjoys his life and he's been very successful. The link to this video is in the description and definitely check out his channel if you like this video. Comment down below what you thought of it. Definitely like and subscribe before you go and have a great day.